領域展開。無料空所。
Well, guys, that's it for Rise of the Tomb Raider. It was fun. I had a lot of fun playing it, honestly. And you know, after this game, you know, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is up next. So, but as for this game, I love this game way more than I did the Definitive Edition. And I know I gave the Definitive Edition a what, 8 out of 10. Let's drop it down to a 7, maybe a 6. Because the more I kept thinking about it, the more there's a lot of things that I honestly didn't like. So honestly, the way I'm feeling about the game now is honestly pretty much looking like a 7, a base 7. It's close to a 6, honestly, but a base 7. That's giving it a benefit of the doubt for Definitive Edition Tomb Raider. This game is looking 8 out of 10, definitely 8 out of 10. I had a lot of fun playing this game. It was a lot more. It was a lot more challenging. There was a lot more building, crafting, thinking, being smart with your, like, just with your materials. Not rushing into things. You know, there's a lot of tombs you can explore. There's a lot for more you can explore, more you can do instead of being confined to an island. You're all in the mountains in this Antarctica. I think that's where you're at. I think. Well, I just call it Antarctica because, well, it's snowy mountains and everything. Might not be there. You know, I think you're just in like some cold, all the way north cold, somewhere very far north. And it's in the mountains and stuff, but I can't remember the exact name of the location they was there because they all was basically in a place trying to look for that tomb of the divine source and try to get that power and everything. Honestly, I think this is a great story, honestly, because I feel like this really challenges Lara a lot, with her finally, you know, talking about her life. Her father, she never came to terms with her father's death, and she kept playing his tapes over and over again throughout the entire game. Every campfire session, well, not everyone, but every other one, she would play those tapes, or she's talking to herself, or she has a lot of regrets and a lot of big shields she feel like she needs to feel. And then also when you come out of the left lane, you got Anna, who's like basically a stepmother to her, which she kind of felt like that was the only family she had left, which indeed she felt and realized that that wasn't even a real family to begin with. She was also a traitor. That also landed a huge shock on Lara's mental. She powered through it, but it was still heavily affecting her through the game, because at the end of the day, as we saw with Jonah, despite my personal take is that he made a dumbass decision, but nevertheless she cared, and she basically put everything else to the side. No more trying to redeem her father's reputation. It wasn't worth it. Jonah was more important, and I respect that. It must have took a lot to make that decision to choose between, you know, with the thing you always wanted your entire life, the thing you could have got to that could have proved to the world that yes, my father wasn't crazy. My father wasn't, you know, no cuckoo. My father had it all right from the very beginning. You guys should have listened to him. He could have got that "I told you so" moment. But instead of getting that, she chose to save Jonah, and he basically do the right thing. Definitely do what was best. Like she said in the honor, she's not doing for what's best for her, not doing what's best for them, not doing what's best for her father. She's doing what's best for humanity. And what's best for humanity is for such a power to never exist at all. And that's true. And honestly, Anna's situation is that she was evil, right? She was evil, but she wasn't evil. Obviously, her time with the crosses led to her becoming much more attached to Lara and her father as well. I can't remember his name, but basically, she became a Croft in the end. In her own weird way, she became one of the Crofts, and you know, Lara may never felt it, but Lara did see at the end. She could have had killed Lara any time, and Lara would have never been the wiser. But she, you know, basically kind of held off on him because she cared too much about Lara. Basically treated her, she felt like she was probably her daughter, but she never had said that or never admitted to it. But she probably definitely felt Lara as a daughter. So, and we don't know much about Laura's mother either. We're not sure how long. What I understand from the tapes is that Laura's original mother, her birth mother, basically, I think she died not too long after Lara was born. Now I'm not sure if it was immediately, or it may have been like 2 or 3 years after Lara had already been born. But obviously, Lara's father took that pretty rough in the tapes, and a lot of things were going on in his life. And he was obviously being pressured into doing a lot of things he didn't want to do, but he knew for sure that he wanted to go to these tombs. He knew he could find something that could really help humanity. At the end of the day, the Cross are all good people, really. They sacrifice their health and the sake of their minds and mental states for the sake of the world. They're always trying to find an artifact that can help and benefit the rest of the world, while the rest of the world looks down on them and call them crazy for even pursuing this in the first place. While they are reckless and can lead to a lot of trouble, and also can be very stubborn. I think that's just a Croft thing. They very, very stubborn at times. especially Lara, and that in itself can lead to a lot of people being pushed away because, you know, if you get the mentality of you're not gonna do it, I'll do it by myself. You know, I don't need anyone else to come with me. Jonah knows that's how Lara is. Lara is gonna go through the adventure no matter what. So, you know, he's a true friend for definitely sticking through and not going back and want to stay with her and definitely see this all the way through to the end. Even if he killed him, he wasn't gonna reveal the secret about the divine artifact. So, you know, Jonah's a real one. All right, Jonah's a real one. So I respect him for that. I just don't respect that dumbass decision he made with just not shooting the dude. Like, I understand he ain't never killed nobody before. That could be a lot of pressure on your hand. But if you had a gun to my head just 2 seconds before, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not hesitating. Maybe not shooting you in the head, but I'm shooting you in the leg or something. You're not gonna get the chance to do that to me again. That's just what it is. You not shooting at all, him not shooting at all was insane. So that's a crazy setup for him to get shot like that or stabbed and then, you know, magically survive because Jacob was, well, the prophet. In this case, I don't know, is Jacob supposed to be basically Jesus in this whole story? I mean, like, that's kind of what it's looking like. That's what it's looking like. He was like supposed to be like Jesus, Moses, basically all like kind of like biblical people in one individual. That's basically, they just calling the prophets there. That's what it kind of seemed like they was playing with Jacob's whole situation, but maybe I'm missing something on that whole part. I know I'm jumping for different parts of the story, but like this is all stuff I kind of thought about, stuff I really liked about the game, and I like that Laura's character has grown a lot in this game, honestly, especially at the end, which she definitely made a decision like, this isn't for me, this isn't for you, Anna, and you know this ain't for you. Only Anna want to cure her health. Yeah, she want to cure her health, but like, let's be honest, Anna has killed so many people at this point, and she manipulated Constantine and made him pretty much a puppet, made him believe something that never existed to begin with. You could say Trinity also played a huge part into why Constantine turned out the way he did, but Anna was a major reason why. She literally grew up with Constantine and literally truly manipulating him into being a gopher for Trinity and believing all the nonsense he was fed, because she literally said in one of the recordings that Constantine was doubting what he was being told. He was always asking questions, everything, and Anna was the one who eventually convinced him, basically, completely to quit asking questions and give in to it all, and it led to him living a very purposeless life. I don't feel bad for him, though. I mean, I do, for his upbringing, but at the same time, he's done so many horrible things. He's killed so many people. It's like, at what point do you really have any sympathy left for him? His wrongs outdo his crimes have outweighed what has already happened to him. At some point, he could have stopped, but he didn't. He kept going. Even when he questioned Anna's loyalty to Trinity, he still kept pushing. Honestly, his loyalty wasn't even really to Trinity. His loyalty was to Anna, and that's why he really just kept doing everything he do. But in the end of the day, he still played the role of a mindless puppet, killing people left and right just to achieve a pointless goal, because you were gonna get thrown away either way. So it was like, bro, what are we talking about right now? Like, what are we honestly talking about? You know? But hey, Constantine, I'm glad he died, man. And then he got talking shit in the end, like what the fuck? Like, honestly, my biggest question is, how did Lara's father really die? Did he off himself, or did he get murdered? Now, I like to think that he offed himself. I think that's what happened. I think, but then again, I don't feel like that's the case either. It might have been, it was like a flashback scene that kind of looked like it was that, but I don't think that was the case. I think that's what Lara saw as a child when she found her father's body. Now, Anna was given a task to get rid of Lara's father, but she said she couldn't go through with it before she got killed. So that kind of leaves it up in the air right now. What exactly happened to her father, and what was the last thing that her father was looking into? And honestly, it was the divine power, divine artifact was one thing, and then I'm assuming the Shadow Tomb Raider is going to be like the true last thing that her father was looking into, that he was going to head off to try to find out the secrets of. And he's saying that these things, I wonder how he even come up with these things. Like, I imagine how much research and time goes into this to figure out these artifacts that can really benefit the world. You don't even know if they're real. When you find out about it, they're just myths. So, you know, you go out of your way to go look for these, and it's like, you know, and the expedition costs a lot of money, you know, it might be government funded. It's a lot. And it's like, if it fails, you got to worry about everybody coming back. You come back home and everybody just down you, you know, spitting on your name, people telling you a fraud, people saying you're wasting people's time, people saying you're going crazy, you know, and Lord following his footsteps. And now they all saying it. If you start in the newspaper in the beginning of the game, it basically said another Croft following in the same footsteps of her father, saying she's also crazy. So, you know, it's crazy. It's real crazy. I know I'm saying crazy a lot, but like, it's a whole crazy situation. For the most part though, like I said, I enjoyed it a lot. I love the gameplay mechanics a lot more in this game than I did in Definitive Edition. I didn't realize just how much they would give me in Definitive Edition. Definitive Edition, you got all your shotgun, your assault rifle, and you got your what was it, the stick, the light, the torch, and then you got the pistol, and then you got the axe. You know, but you don't really get that in this game. You got to earn all this stuff. You got to get all this stuff, which at first I wasn't fond of because I felt like, you know, this is the sort of stuff you think you would have going on an adventure like this, but she didn't have it, which made no sense in my eyes. But, you know, I was like, it was fun just crafting stuff and just trying to always, you know, stay on my game. You know, I don't want to fall behind on supplies, so I go hunting. You know, I need more gear, so I would always go get the little small stuff. Cause like the gear boxes and stuff like that's typically stuff you don't even bother with. If the game didn't put that as crafting and telling you that stuff you needed, I'm pretty sure 90% of players wouldn't even bother with it. I wouldn't bother with it because why would I? It's a waste of time to even go back and get it stuff. But I went and did it because I knew I was going to need it for the future. So I have no regrets though. Honestly, it's still an 8 out of 10, and it's still a great game. And I think it's a great progression for Laura's character as a whole. Now, as for the future and what's going to happen in Shadow Tomb Raider, I have no idea. You know, I feel like this game was kind of a, you know, it was more to progress Laura's character a lot more from the Definitive Edition. Now, in the Definitive Edition, that game Laura was introduced, but nothing was really explored upon about her character. More so, it was more explored about, it was more about the situation that was currently in and how they was going to get out of it. And that's what that was really about. And you got pieces, I said pieces. You got pieces and bits of her story through Rolf, you know, and that was her father's best friend, and that whole situation. So we don't know. I don't know what's gonna expect for the next game, but I do look forward to it. I think Anna was horrible, honestly. At the end of the day, despite everything she done, and despite her not killing Lara, she might not be she was pretty horrible because you still gotta think about the fact that Anna was part of Trinity at one point. Before she joined the Cross, she was just the same as Constantine, if not worse. Straight murderer, killer, not even a second thought. Her job was to infiltrate and be part of the Cross family. I forgot how long she said she was there. It was a long time. I can't remember exactly how long. It was a long it was a long time though. I would like to assume Anna came into the family sometime when Lara was no more, and it's probably a teenager maybe at the time she met and came into the family. So yeah, with all that being the case though, I just think that Anna is a great like little twist of a character because it is when you introduced her to the story, she's introduced kind of like you would think like a best friend sort of figure when you first meet her because she looks kind of pretty young, but when you get a closer look at her, you can tell she's a lot older. But you know that off real, that can't be Laura's mother because she just doesn't look like Lara, so she has to be a stepmother. And then you're like, okay, the stepmother, she's trying to convince Lara to come back home, give this up, yada, yada, yada. And then, you know, she's trying to convince her, and then we got this whole Trinity situation going down, stealing all her stuff out of her house. And it's crazy. Because it's like, you get the whole situation of you're going back from when you fell through the avalanche, and now you're here. And then she having the conversation, this argument with Anna. And then, you know, you go through the missions. And I don't even think he'd be that far, honestly. It don't need to be alone for you find out you reach the point when Anna shows up and she tries to play the role, pretends like she was there, got captured, and then sets you up. Well, basically, yeah, it was a setup, and then she tried to get all the information from him to get the divine source. But at the end of the day, Anna cared about Lara, but she cared more about herself than she did Lara. If she truly loved Lara as a daughter and really betrayed Trinity, she would have just said it's whatever with the divine source. You know, she would just let that go. But she was scared for her life. She didn't want to die. But at the end of the day, she murdered, like I said before, God knows how many people. She deserves, she might as well just accept her fate. Honestly, she pretty much deserved it. Her and Constantine, they both deserved it. A lot of people in Trinity deserved to die. They literally straight up just massacred all those native people on the mountains. They could have all been alive had they not. This all could have been avoided. Honestly, it still kind of plays a huge part into Jacob. Jacob also played a huge fall into this mess because Jacob did indeed, and I'm not gonna lie, was alive for almost probably a millennium, bro. It doesn't tell me how long Jacob has been alive. He's been alive for a long time, bro. And he just kept lying to these people, bro. Like, these native people are now gonna be so lost because they're gonna be like, Jacob's gone, he was their leader, you know. Well, at least his daughter is still gonna be around, and Jacob is just, his time should have been up. Let's just leave it at that. His time should have been up. He did a lot of help. He did help a lot. He didn't really have a strong ulterior motive because obviously he lived for so long. He, you know, it's like he didn't really need no ulterior motive anyway, because he probably just wanted to be free for this immortality that he probably considered as a curse more than he did as a blessing. But Jacob was a very interesting character, because while in a way I kind of expected a little twist from him, at the same time I kind of let that idea of a twist coming from him go, because all of all the things he did to help Lara out, that ended up being beneficial to both of them. He got Lara, freed him from the prison. He helped Lara out. He helped her, all the other people and the natives and stuff like that out, because they are his people. And then Lara helps him out. She helps the people, the natives. You know, it was like a help me, I help you. You know, we got common goals, and then we work together. We can reach that common goal. And of course, at the end of the day, that very end goal was different, but in the end, it ended up being the same, because the divine source was an artifact that should never really existed in that world to begin with, because power like that and creating immortality is something that will destroy humanity, no matter how you look at it. No human being is meant to live forever, and this is the result of what happens when human beings live forever. They end up start making crazy mistakes, stuff that they become dull to their emotions for living for so long. So, and I'm glad that Lara made a big decision though, and it probably hurt her a lot, because she definitely could have redeemed her father's reputation, but at the end of the day she knew that it would have been much better to protect humanity and save it from the idea and the power of divine source of having somebody abuse it, and having something like Trinity get a hold of it and ruin it and take over the world, and have things go in the worst possible timeline possible. But yeah, I think Lara went through the greatest progression in this game, especially from the beginning. You know, her father is still trying to chase in his shadow, and then trying to really get to the middle point of her still trying to come to terms with the fact that her father's gone. She wanted more time. She talks about it over and over again, how she really misses her father, and how, like, in the end, I think Lara truly does feel very lonely. You know, she never really would admit that, but she does feel lonely of the fact that she doesn't have any family left. And yeah, I think that pretty much is a great way for Lara's character to progress. And at the end, you know, now she has something even greater to, you know, as a greater purpose. I'd say it like that. She has a greater purpose now. Instead of just trying to follow her father's footsteps and follow his shadow or trying to, you know, redeem his name, she has a greater purpose, and now trying to protect humanity from Trinity and trying to stop whatever Trinity's planning to do and prevent them from getting artifacts that can ruin the world, or using it, or allow them to have full control like a dictatorship of the world. So, you know, I think that's great. I think that's great that Lara has a true purpose, and maybe after the Shadow of Tomb Raider, she will probably find some time to probably take some downtime. You know, finally, you know, she's taking down Trinity. She'll probably take some downtime and, you know, just catch up on her life and see how things go. But I look forward to seeing how that goes, though. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like the video. Start this video. Tell me what you think on below on Spectro, and next time. See ya.